to this class of Vedanta. A class of Vedanta doesn't happen easily. It is because of huge grace of Ishvara that a person can reach a class of Vedanta. It is only when certain amount of punyas of a person fructify, only then a person can reach. Otherwise, a lot of obstacles will come for such a person. Even if they want, they will not be able to attend Vedanta class. So the punyas which we get out of doing good karmas are of two types. Some punyas will get us this material prosperity in the world. It'll get us health, wealth, name, fame, relationships. Such punyas are known as abhyudaya in Sanskrit. But there are higher punyas because of which a person reaches a spiritual path, by which the doors of spirituality open for the person. So these are very higher punyas. A class of Vedanta is known as Gyan Yagya. It is just like in a Drav Yagya, we offer oblations in the fire, which are material stuff like the Havi, the Ahuti which is given in the fire, that is Drav Yagya. But in Gyan Yagya, in the fire of knowledge, our ignorance is offered. So, Gyan Agni, Agyanam Bhasmasat Kurute. It removes all the ignorance, which is the fundamental problem of a human being. No other thing will ever solve the human problem except knowledge, and which only Vedanta gives. So, you all are punyavans who have reached this class of Vedanta. And we pray to God that this knowledge actually gets assimilated by each and every one of you, and it blesses our lives. So the word Veda in Sanskrit means to know. And Vedanta, that is the last portion of the Vedas, it deals with the truth of life. It deals with the philosophy of life. It deals with the purpose of a human birth, the goal of a human birth, and it gives the entire blueprint to reach that goal. So anything else is just a shot in the dark. We don't know what we are doing over here. The guidance is only given by the scriptures. Vedanta is apurushaya. It is not written by any human being. This knowledge is directly given by God to human beings. This knowledge, which is the receiver of this knowledge were the rishis, because their mind was so refined, their minds were so subtle and contemplative that God gave this knowledge when they were meditating. So God is the transmitter of this knowledge, as it were, and the rishis were the receivers of this knowledge. But this knowledge which is received is known as Shruti, and this is present in the Upanishads, and the Upanishads are present in the Vedas. But this knowledge is very cryptic, it's very implicit and subtle, so it's very difficult to understand what the Shruti is saying. Shruti means that which is heard. The Shishyas hear it from the Guru. This is a Guru Shishya Parampara which goes on, and this knowledge is passed from the Guru to the Shishya, which is heard. And in those times, especially in the Vedic times, there were no papers and pencils, so everything was just heard, memorized, and then it was passed on. So since the knowledge of Shrutis is so cryptic, our rishis, they explained it and expanded it by writing the Smritis. Smriti means memory, and by memory what they have written is known as Smriti. The Smriti includes Bhagavad Gita, which is present in Mahabharata. It includes Brahma Sutras. It includes Puranas. It includes Prakaran Granthas, Strot Granthas. There are many Smritis which our masters have written so that we can understand this knowledge. The maximum contribution has been of Ved Vyasa. Vyasa means the one who compiles, the compiler of the Vedas. He put the Shruti into these respective Vedas, And he is the one who wrote Mahabharata with Bhagavad Gita in it. He wrote Brahma Sutras. He wrote the Puranas. So his contribution is so tremendous that we respect and worship him, and we have so much of reverence for him that we celebrate Guru Purnima in his name. And any seat from which Vedanta is spoken, be it a seat under a tree, that seat is known as Vyas Peeth. So that is the respect we give Ved Vyasa. His actual name was Krishna Dvaipayana, also known as Bhadarayana. We just chanted his name in the prayer mantra. So he was a stalwart, a giant who has brought so much of knowledge to us. The other second giant in our Vedanta is Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya. It's because of Adi Shankaracharya that today we are sitting, this Guru Shishya Parampara is on, and we are sitting in a Vedanta class, because there was a time when this Vedanta knowledge was being misinterpreted by a lot of learned people. It is possible to misinterpret this knowledge because it is so cryptic and implicit, you know. So there were a lot of personal philosophies which were cropping up at that time, and then Shankaracharya ji was born for this purpose, you know. He walked the length and breadth of the country, just walked, and he went and, you know, with these philosophers who were spreading this knowledge, misinterpretation of the knowledge, he went and asked for Bhiksha of Shastrat. Bhiksha is for food, but Shastrat is a debate in the philosophy, you know, because they were so open that, yes, you can tell us what you want to say, and if it is correct, then they will accept it, you know. So he convinced all these people about Advaita, and he was the one who established the 4 Peethams at the 4 sides of the country, and later even the Kanchi Peetham was established in Tamil Nadu. It is because of him that this Guru Shishya Parampara is on. Adi Shankaracharya ji is considered the avatara of Bhagwan Shankar, Bhagwan Shiva, and Ved Vyasa is considered as avatara of Lord Vishnu. So these two we have a lot of reverence for in Vedanta. Now we have 4 Vedas, you all must be knowing about it. They are Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda with 2 of its branches, Krishna Yajur Veda, Shukla Yajur Veda, and Atharvana Veda. And each Veda is divided into 4 portions: the Mantra Bhag, the Brahmana Bhag, the Aranya Bhag, and the Upanishad Bhag. The Mantra Bhag obviously is full of mantras which are meant to be used for prayers and benedictions. Only when we pray very sincerely to God can we turn inwards in our life. Otherwise, the Shakti of Maya to keep us rooted in materialism is too strong. It is not possible to get over it. This temptation of this world is Maya, and we have to transcend that with this knowledge. So only when we pray to God sincerely will we come on this spiritual path. The second bhag is known as Brahmana bhag, which deals with the rituals and the methods of the rituals. It also tells us about the do's and don'ts one has to do in life, which is known as the Vidhi Nished in Sanskrit, you know. And we are supposed to follow that Vidhi Nished given by the scriptures so that our life is fulfilled and satisfied. Otherwise, by the end of the life, when everything is over, people realize that there were big mistakes we've gone and made, and we can't correct them anymore. So we have to start living our lives as per what the Vedas are saying. This portion, Brahmana portion, is known as Karma Kanda portion, and it deals also with the law of karma and the law of dharma. Then the third portion is the Aranya portion. The word Aranya means forest. And in those days, people did leave for the forest after they had completed their family duties and the social and the professional duties. They wanted to focus on this knowledge, so they left for the forest. But today, it can be taken as detachment from materialism. While living in this world, if we start getting a little detached, we are on the path. Aranyaka Bhag talks about Upasana. It is known as Upasana Kanda. It deals with meditations and its methodologies. So this is supposed to make our mind calm and tranquil. It is preparing, and also through the mind we handle our senses and the body, and we prepare ourselves for the final part of the Vedas, which is the Upanishad Bhag, which is known as Gyan Kanda. This part deals with the philosophy of life. It reveals the truth of life. This is called the spiritual part, we can say this is spirituality. So the Karma Kanda portion, all these three bhags can be broadly classified into Karma Kanda, the mantra, the Brahmana and the Aranya Bhag are the Karma Kanda Bhag, or also known as Ved Purva, and the Upanishad Bhag is known as Ved Anta. The Ved Purva Bhag tells us how to live this life. It talks about the way of life, and Vedanta talks about the view of life. So in Hinduism, religion and spirituality are intermingled. Religion is a stepping stone for spirituality. A religious person may not be spiritual, but a spiritual person has to be religious. So Swami Vivekananda said, religion without philosophy is superstition, and philosophy without religion is idealism. It is just some ideas in the mind which are not lived. So we have to live this philosophy of life. That alone is called religion. And today most of the people don't know the philosophy because the knowledge part is all missing from the scene here. It is Diya Tale Andhera. We are Hindus born in India, but this knowledge is missing from the scene. So they have converted religion into some sort of entertainment. It's all fun and frolic. They are busy polluting the water bodies. There's so much of air pollution. There's so much of water pollution, sound pollution. So they don't know what religion is. If you just ask them why they're doing what they are doing, they will just say that everybody does it and their parents did it and their parents did it. So we are just doing it for that sake. So this is literally like the blind following the blind without any knowledge. It's only because the knowledge of Vedanta is not there presently, and people who have come to get the knowledge are really punyavan people, So since this knowledge is very subtle and it deals with three major subjects, which is Jeev, Jagat, Ishvara. Jeev is this individual, Jagat is the world which this individual encounters, and the creator of these two, Ishvara. So who is this Jeev? What is this Jagat which we encounter? And who is Ishvara actually is what Vedanta is talking about. And already regarding all the three, we have some conclusions in our mind, We think we know that. So for listening to Vedanta, we have to put all our conclusions aside. The shaving of the head of a sannyasi is symbolic of putting your preconceived conclusions aside. You remove, each hair is a notion, remove all those notions and then come for Vedanta, because this is a very subtle knowledge. Because only in an empty cup can something be poured. If the cup is already full of conclusions, nothing can be poured in it, Only when a person knows that there is something I don't know and I would like to know, only that person can come for knowledge, because knowledge needs humility. Vidya Vinaya Sampannam, Vinaya is humility. And this is the highest sampatti, this is the highest wealth anybody can get. As it is said in the scriptures, the Chorya Haram, the Raja Haryam, the Bhrata Bhajyam, the Bhara Kari, Vyaye Krite Vardhate Evacha Nityam, Vidyadhanam Sarvadhanat Pradhanam. The Chorya Haram means thieves can't take this away from me. The Raja Haryam, government can't take this away as taxes from me. The Bhrata Bhajyam, this wealth cannot be divided between the siblings, and it doesn't have to be left, cannot be left for a spouse. Vyaye krite vardhate evacha nityam. As you keep sharing this wealth, this unique wealth just goes on increasing, unlike any other wealth. Vidyadhanam sarvadhanat pradhanam. So this is the highest wealth one can get in life. So when I know that I want, there is something lacking, otherwise most of the people you talk to them, I know, in one sentence, it's this, I know you hear very well, because they seem to be knowing everything. So only when you know. So it is said, one who knows not and knows not he knows not is a fool, shun him. The one who knows not but knows he knows not is ignorant, teach him. The one who knows but knows not that he knows is asleep, wake him. But one who knows and knows that he knows is a wise person, follow him. So even to know that the person is wise and the person has knowledge, one has to be relatively wise, because only a wise can recognize the wise. Otherwise, generally the wisdom is recognized by the appearance. The jatas, the shaven head, the long beard, Kashaya Vastra, oh, that person is very knowledgeable. That's not what it is. Shankaracharya ji said in Bhaj Govindam, Jatilo mundi lunchita keshaha kasha yambara bahukrita veshaha pashyan apina cha pashyati mudaha udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha. Udara nimittam means for the sake of the stomach, for feeding the stomach, a whole lot of vesham is going on. So don't get carried away by what you see around. Wisdom is recognized when you are a little wise, So the scriptures say that there are two kinds of knowledges a human being must have. Otherwise the life is going to be dissatisfied and unfulfilled. So the two kinds of knowledges are Dve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. Dve vidye, two kinds of knowledges. Veditavye, you must know. Paracha and aparacha. Paravidya is the self-knowledge, and everything other than self-knowledge is aparavidya. So aparavidya we start getting when we go to school, college, professional colleges, because of which we'll earn a living, we'll serve here in the society, we'll do a contribution in the world. Even the knowledge of Ved Purva comes as in aparavidya. But problem with aparavidya is that if a person starts going deep in aparavidya, he comes to know that there is so much I don't know. The more he knows, the more he comes to know that there's so much to know and I know precious little. So there is no end to aparavidya, one can just go on and on getting. But in paravidya, the paravidya is brahmavidya, which talks about the infinite. And because it's the infinite, there can be nothing above the infinite. So the actual quest for knowledge ends with paravidya. But paravidya is not a matter of self-study. This is another mistake which people make. We think that we can read books and we can get paravidya, or at random we go and attend one chapter of Bhagavad Gita somewhere, or one Upanishad we go and hear somewhere, some meditation class we do somewhere, or like that. That doesn't get us paravidya, So paravidya has, it's clearly the scriptures say that only a Brahmanishta Shrotriya Guru can give you this paravidya. Brahmanishta is one who has this vidya, and Shrotriya is one who can communicate this vidya. I can tell you my own example, I was doing very serious self-studies for many years, and it was round the clock I was studying. But then when my Guruji, he is Swami Atmananda Saraswati of Vedanta Ashram Indore, he happens to be my real brother also. He's just 2.5 years older to me. He told me that you will not get this knowledge by what you are doing. So if you are really serious, then shift to the ashram, So then I sold my house here, which was this Duple A13, where I was living there for 20 years. And my practice, my dental practice at Karkhana, which I was there for 30 years, I just passed it on. I sold the house because I had lost my husband in 98 and both my kids had gone abroad, so I was free. So I moved to the ashram and I studied under my Guruji systematically, consistently for 3 years. And it was such a revelation that all that I had thought that I have understood, I had understood nothing. So this knowledge is to be studied very systematically, just like we study any other subject in our college and schools. The Paravidya has to be got systematically, class by class. This knowledge is going to be built just like we make a wall, brick by brick, So these two knowledges alone, otherwise our life is incomplete without Paravidya. A human birth is only given because we need to get this Paravidya. A human intellect is very evolved, and it has two very evolved traits in it. One is self-consciousness. We are conscious of ourselves, I know that I am, how tall or short I am, whether I'm fat or thin, or whether I'm fair or dark. We are aware of ourselves, It is only because we are aware can we analyze ourselves, because this is self-realization. There is analysis of ourselves, So this trait is given. This trait is not given so that we compete with each other and start developing complexes, This is what generally is being done. Each human body is so unique. It is given to each one of us as per our karmaphalas, and we are not supposed to do this competition which is going on here, We have our own fingerprints, we have our own retina, the special face. If we are asked to draw some 10 faces also, we will not be able to draw. How many can we draw? But here there are billions and zillions of people, and each person is so unique. This is God's vibhuti, So it is very foolish if we look at each other and get these superiority or inferiority complexes. So self-consciousness is one trait. The other is free will. We have a free will. We have a choice in doing our actions. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. Kartum shakyam, I can do any action. Akartum shakyam, I may not do it. Anyatha va kartum shakyam, I can do it in any other way. An animal can't do like that. An animal is programmed, it works by instinct. Neither does an animal have that kind of self-consciousness. The animal doesn't know whether it's black or white, or whether a dog doesn't know whether it's a German Shepherd or a Labrador. The owner knows that, The animals have some rudimentary self-consciousness by which they recognize their species, and they even hunt for their food. So very rudimentary self-consciousness. But a human being has got a very evolved intellect with this trait of self-consciousness and free will. So I can do, but the animals cannot do. A cow will always eat grass only, but a human can choose to eat a cow. So there we have a choice here, So these two traits are given to a human being for a higher purpose. We are not supposed to just live our lives, just subah hoti hai, sham hoti hai, यूं zindagi tamam hoti hai. Get up day in and day out, you're doing those mundane things, Get up, feed your body and clothe it and entertain it and earn your living and take care of me and mine and go to sleep, and next day do the same thing. It's sometimes you meet people after 20 years, that's all they are doing. There's no growth there because the lack of knowledge is not there. They don't know that there is a purpose for which we are born, and human beings have a higher goal. There is a higher purpose for this body. So we are, human beings are goals driven, These goals, they drive us. We have some immediate goals by which, we know that today we have to do this, tomorrow, this week we have to do this, and this month we have to do this. And while attending to these goals, we are taking care of our long-term goals. My children have to be married, I have to educate them, I have to buy a house. So we are doing this. But that's not all. There is an ultimate goal of life also. And the scriptures talk about it. The scriptures say there are chaturvida purusharths. There are 4 goals which a human being has to achieve. That is why you are a human. Otherwise, why am I not that scary looking lizard or the scary looking crocodile or monkey sitting on the tree or a donkey somewhere? No, I am a human being. A human being has got a goal, it's got a purpose, So the four purusharths which the scriptures talk about are dharma, artha, kam and moksha. Now we talk about dharma first because anything which we are supposed to do should be done righteously, morally, ethically, using the legitimate ways. Not adharmic ways, not cutting corners, not going through shortcuts, and making some quick bucks here. That's not going to help us, So because we have to live a life of dharma, the purusharth of dharma is set first, but otherwise we actually start with artha in our life. Artha is getting all we get in life which gives us this sense of security, because we as humans are born feeling insecure. Just see a little baby, it has to be in the mother's lap. The moment you take it, the expression changes. Because of fear, the baby cries. It's the fear of insecurity. Then even if the baby, as it grows, the child is clinging on to the mother because there is this sense of insecurity. But as we grow, only the crutches change, We don't really know that we are holding on to something or someone here in this world because of this fear of insecurity. And to get over this fear of insecurity, we do many things here. And the top of the list, of course, is money. So we earn money. Of course, we have to fend for ourselves to a certain extent. We have to, otherwise we don't want to be a burden here, and God has given us 2 hands and legs only for that purpose. So we earn, but too much of money can itself be a cause of insecurity, because all this crime, kidnapping, the family feuds, money is the cause behind it, So we must know where to draw a line. But yes, this sense of insecurity we are trying to remove by getting money here, Some people think name and fame is going to give them that sense of security, so they chase name and fame. Some people think that a nice family with children, grandchildren gives me the sense of security, so they took out for a family, They want to have a nice big family. Whatever it is, the first purusharth which we have is artha, and for that, Purushartha itself means Purusha, human being, Artha is the goal. Now this word Artha has got many meanings. It means a goal, it means the effort, it also means all that insecurity, whatever I'm getting to remove the wealth and all that is also called Artha. Then the second Purushartha is Kama. Kama is the pleasures a human being wants, This is Kama means pleasures. So a human being gets busy in sensual gratifications, emotional gratifications and intellectual gratifications. So we have 5 senses, the sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of touch and sense of hearing. These are called Panch Gyan Indriyas. Gyan Indriyas, Indriyas by which I get Jnana of this world. And the world is made up of 5 sense objects known as Vishaya. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the Vishayas of the world. All that we hear, all that we eat, all that we smell, all that we can see. These are the sub-objects. There is no 6th object in this world. So the senses and the sense objects, when they interact, there's a certain amount of pleasure one which gets out of it, And most of the gross people are only getting these pleasures in life. You eat well, you dress well, you go to movies, you go for holidays, we are gratifying ourselves sensually, And if a person spends his entire life just in sensual gratifications, that person, the scriptures call him as asura, like grossest. This is the worst kind of human being. He's only spending his time in sensual gratification. Then a human being needs emotional gratification. Emotional gratification is the need for love and respect. A human being wants to love some people and wants to be loved by some people. He wants some people to call as mine, and he wants some people to call him as mine. So you want people and you want to be wanted by people. This is an emotional need. This I love you and do you love me is the need for emotional gratification. Then the higher one is intellectual gratification, and it's rare, it is a higher gratification. Gratification is the pleasure which I am getting. So there are some people, they look out for intellectual stimulation, they want, this higher gratification. This joy which one gets out of knowledge and after studying is a very higher joy, is known as Vidya Ananda. And all the other joy which we get out of the objects of this world and from people is known as Vishaya Ananda. It's a lower Ananda, Now, if we just look around in this world and see, most of the people are only living at their life where they're following two Purusharthas. Artha, Kama. Earn, enjoy. Earn for 5 days, enjoy for 2 days, So, mostly we even see this in the West, that they're desperately waiting for Fridays to come. They call it TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and oh my God it's Monday, And on the weekend, there are these long queues in front of the beer and liquor stores, and they are carrying the empty bottles and cans of the last week, and that is their weekend. So they earned for that and they enjoyed. Even in here also, we look at the liquor store, the queues in front of liquor stores, because it's karma, it's pleasure. You earn the money and you want to have pleasure. So that's all the life is about. It's artha and kama, If I get more artha, then the standard of karma is going to increase. Earlier I was going to the local restaurants, now I go to 5-star hotel. Earlier I was wearing normal clothes, now I wear branded clothes. Earlier I went for a holiday to these local places, now I go to a foreign country. So what are you doing? You're getting artha and you're taking care of your karma need, that's all. So life is very dissatisfying like this. The pleasures which one gets out of this is temporary. Till you have that enjoyment, till the gratification is there, the pleasure will last only till there. You eat something nice, you got a pleasure, finished, over, pleasure's finished, But there are some people who look out for deeper joys and satisfaction. They are the ones who step into the third Purushartha, which is Dharma. So some of them leave their jobs, fat-paying jobs, and they go and stay in villages. They teach the slum children, they take care of stray animals, stray dogs, they plant trees, they clean water bodies. Why? When they can earn a lot also. That's only because this is dharma, this is giving them very deep satisfaction, And some people who will do all this, so they believe they'll get punyas out of doing good things, so that they'll get more artha and kama. That is called sakam bhavna, because there is a reason behind why you're doing it, But if it is done by nishkam bhavna, that is, you are just serving for the sake of serving, this is actually dharma, and dharma te virati. Such a person will start developing vairagya. What is vairagya? Vairagya is, when materialism starts losing its charm on this person. It starts becoming subservient to spirituality. He turns inwards in life, and it only comes after a person starts getting into the path of dharma. Our Ved Purva talks about it, and our Vedanta says that if you want to live a life of dharma, it should be a life of yajna, dan and tapa. Yajna is living a very worshipful and duty-bound life. The word yajna comes from the root yaj. Yaj means worship, and yajna means practice of worship, Because our inner feeling of bhakti, shraddha, reverence for God, it's abstract. And this has to be physicalized and verbalized in an act of worship. So, yajna is an act of worship, and even doing our professional duties and home duties is also an act of worship, because that's actually a higher worship, because work is worship. And when you do it righteously, you are praying to God. So, a life of yajna is getting onto the path of dharma. Then dana. Dana is charity, living a magnanimous life where a person shares what he has in abundance with other people, be it wealth, be it knowledge, be it some time, even to listen to a person in distress and give 2 consoling words, is dana. or even a smile if you give it can brighten somebody's day, you know. So all this in life we have to do this. This charity has to be done. You have to live a magnanimous life. And the third is tapa. Tapa is religious austerities, you know. This is for self-discipline. It is self-denial of all the comforts which we have got used to in life. Because luxuries, you know, they have a knack of becoming necessities very soon. The luxuries come in as guests, they linger on to become hosts, and then they enslave us. So a person who wants to do tapas is the one who doesn't want to get used to all this. He wants to keep his body, mind, sense complex fit for any circumstances. That is why a person who can manage his body, mind is called a Swami. That means he's a master. This body, mind, sense is under my control. This is my instrument. I will use it the way I want to, not dance to its tunes. You know, the mind says something, you're doing it, and the senses demand something, you're fulfilling the demands. So a life of tapa. So Yajna, Dan and tapa is described as a dharmic life by Ved Purva. Ved Purva talks about law of dharma, lot of karma, and to this is the religious way of life. But that's not be all end all of life. Many people, most of the religions also, they just talk till dharma, like do good, be good, think positive, that's it. So even in Hinduism, there are many organizations which are just preaching dharma. You can preach dharma, you can't preach Vedanta, you have to teach Vedanta. Vedanta is like metaphysics, you know, that this has to be understood. But yeah, in that huge crowd, you can't teach Vedanta, you know, they are preaching dharma. So many organizations are preaching dharma, they talk about meditation, they talk about how to manage this body, so that's about it. But the life would be incomplete if we just stop here. Some people think that, oh, I have been doing these, these religious austerities for so many years and that's a feather in the cap. No, that is ignorance. You have to move from dharma to get the next purushartha, which is moksha. Moksha is the ultimate purushartha of life. So people don't know what moksha is, you know. It is self-realization, also known as God realization, known as freedom, known as liberation, nirvana, and our human life is meant for this goal. So all those three purusharthas are karma based, you know. You have to do karmas to get dharma, artha and kama. But moksha is only got by jnana. So the means of moksha is self-knowledge. And knowledge is not a problem. We can continue doing, and it's not necessary that even that's a misconception in our religion that you have to take sannyasa to get moksha, you know. It is, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Lokesmin dvividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. For sannyasis to get knowledge, yes, they can. There are some people who can totally give up all this and get this knowledge exclusively. It's very easy, it makes everything very convenient. But there are people who are in Grihastha ashram who have to take care of the families, who have to earn their living. So they don't have to give it up. Side by side, you start studying, you know, because this is self-knowledge. There's some study is involved here. You know. But you don't waste your time in dharma, artha and kama then, you know. You have to give it up. They have to be used just like a pole vaulter uses the pole to jump and then he leaves the pole, you know. So similarly, all the ritualistic part have to be given up to start serious studies. Even after saying so much, generally one odd person will come forward for this study, you know. And Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushya nam sahastreshu kaschid yadati siddhaye yatatan api siddha nam kaschid mam veti tattvataha. One odd person out of the thousands will come forward, and out of that one person will truly come to know this truth, it is a very tall order, this getting this knowledge, So a lot of effort is required, and it has to be focused with the right knowledge that this is what is going to solve the fundamental human problem. Dharma, Artha, Kama is not going to solve it. So Shankaracharya ji and Vivek Chudamani said, Durlabham trayamevaitat devanugraha hetukam manushyatam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshayah. He says, Durlabham trayamevaitat. Three things are very difficult to get in this world. One is manushyatam, a human body, mumukshutvam, the desire for moksha, and mahapurusha samshaya, somebody to teach this knowledge. The first thing we already have, manushyatam. It's a human body. We are not, all those so many. There are 84 lakh species here in this world. That is, there are 84 lakh costumes in God's superstore. So He gave us, as per our karmas, He gave a human body, And this is meant for a purpose. And if we are going to just let it go, by living, following some other purusharthas, wrong purusharthas, we would have missed the purpose of life. The flight, the bus, the train, the boat, everything of the purpose of life is missed. You missed it. So you were born as a human being and you missed the goal. So that is a very, very big loss. So this mumukshutvam, once, so out of the three, we already have one. Now for the second is mumukshutvam. This desire for moksha has to come. But no desire happens, we can't will a desire. We can't command a desire that if I want, I will get that desire. No, the desire happens. Just like love happens, we can't command love. So similarly, we can't command a desire, but we can prepare the base for it, just like the farmer prepares the soil. And if we follow the Shastras, they are giving us the entire blueprint. How, if you live this is like, you do this, this is the end result. There you will have that strong desire for moksha if you're going to live this path. And once you have the desire, this life is so mysterious that the Mahapurush Samshaya, God is going to take care of. Suddenly you find there is a person standing in front of you who is going to give this knowledge, So these three things are very important. And so the desires, these desires, God has to cater for taking care of these desires also. If He has given a faculty which will produce this desire, then He has to produce a method of solving that desire, to fulfilling that desire. Because, we've heard of stories how those desires, because of which people have killed the other people and they chop them and they put them in the fridge, all that. What is that? That is a desire a person has. And if the desire is not being fulfilled, then there is krodha which comes after that, So this desire is taken care of. It is God's responsibility. As long as you get the mumukshutvam, God will take care of how to solve that problem, So, if my knowledge, now a human being has, in all the activities they pursue, there are three stages. It is, we come to know about something, we desire something, and then we act for that. Janati, Ichchati, Yatate. Unless we know about anything, how can we desire about it? So only when we come to know, we will have a desire, and when we have a desire, we will make our effort towards it. Because Bhagavan has given us three Shaktis. They are Gyan Shakti, Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. So with these Shaktis, we have to get on to the right direction. All these companies, they're blaring their advertisements only for this, because they want us to know their product so that we will desire it, and so we will work towards it, But if my knowledge about the purusharths of life is wrong, then all the desires are going to be wrong. And when the desires are wrong, my effort in the right direction is going to be wrong. And when the effort in the right direction is wrong, then the results of the life are going to be wrong. We land up in samsara, which is called bhava roga by the Shastras, So So it is a dissatisfied, unfulfilled life in the end with a whole lot of regrets and guilts and hurts and all that. You're sitting there because everything was messed up, you blundered up your whole life. So with the right knowledge of Purusharthas, using our free will, we have to reach this final goal, which is moksha. Now, the first thing with Vedanta starts talking about is something called as Anubandha Chatushtaya. Chatushtaya are 4 factors, Anubandha, which will bind me or attract me to Vedanta. So, the first is, even when we go to buy a book, first thing we do is we turn the side and then we read that blurb, and if that matter written there is of my interest, then only I'm going to buy the book, So, Vedanta says that the 4 factors are Adhikari, Vishaya, Prayojana and Sambandh. These are 4 factors which attract me to Vedanta. Adhikari is the qualified person for any knowledge. Just like a graduate is an adhikari for a postgraduate course, and a postgraduate is an adhikari for a PhD course. Similarly, there is an adhikari for the knowledge of Vedanta, but that adhikari has got nothing to do with any qualifications. There's got nothing to do with age, gender, race, nationality, anything. It's got nothing. There is something called as sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. That is, we are going to study in Tattva Bodha about it, So this sampatti, this inner wealth, makes the person adhikari for the knowledge of Vedanta. And who is this person? This person is the one who has learned some lessons from this university of life, He has lived a life with some open eyes. It's pariksha lokan karma chitan brahmano nirved mayayat. Pariksha lokan, pariksha is analysis of lokan is my experiences in life, which I get. These experiences are coming because of my prarabdha karmas, So every moment to moment my prarabdha is unfolding, and the experiences are teaching some people some lessons, Most of the people don't learn the lessons, but there are some people who are learning some lessons and they're growing inwards. So even if there is a failure is not a problem, because if it has brought some inner growth, that is actually better, because the only way of realizing and growing inwards is some difficulties in life are going to teach me some lessons here, And such a person, an adhikari, is the person with this sampatti, sadhan chatushtaya sampatti, is the one who lives a life of magnanimity here, who is a contributor in this world, and not a consumer. A person who knows that I've come here to give. I don't want to just keep getting, This person has compassion for all the living beings, he's got love and care for all the people around. Such a person will grow inwards, and such a person becomes an adhikari, And how do I know that I am an adhikari? Is this attraction for Vedanta class, So Vedanta is going to attract such a person, and even studying further is going to be very interesting and not a burden, because most of the people, this Vedanta is not my cup of tea, and all this high flown stuff is meant only for few sannyasis who have nothing else to do in life, So they don't know what they are missing out on, because this is the knowledge which will actually solve all the problems. So that's the adhikari. The Vishaya, the subject matter of Vedanta, what is the Tatparya, what is the crux, what is the message Vedanta is actually given, is what people don't know. So just like in this world is full of illusions, The sun doesn't rise and set, but I experience it. The moon doesn't have its own light, but I experience it. This blue canopy which I see, the sky, is actually an illusion created by the dispersion of blue light. The colorless light which I see is actually made up of 7 colors. The earth, which I think is flat and steady, is actually round and moving. Any object, is even a wall or a mountain or a rock, which I think is steady and just like that, is strong and steady. No, it's made up of atoms in which there's massive movement going on. So everything is actually an illusion. But Science has proven a lot. So we believe in all these things because science has proven it, Science deals with objects of this world. It deals with matter and energy. And matter is gross energy and energy is subtle matter. And matter and energy are interconvertible. And science has proven everything about that, so we believe it, But the spiritual realm, we are made up of matter and spirit both. At least some people should know that. Some people don't even know that there is a spiritual realm inside us, So there is matter and we have a very big spiritual part. The matter part is very less in us actually. So there is a confusion about what we are, whether we are the matter or we are the spirit, So this spiritual realm has to be known, and Vedanta talks about it and says that the greatest illusion in this world is that you are the Atma, which is Paramatma. You are not this individual, this ego, this petty individual, you take yourself and go I all the time. So you are Atma, which is Paramatma. This has to be found out. And on this identity my life is standing, because I do whatever I do because I think I'm this small person. And Vedanta pulls the rug from under our feet and says, no, this identity of yours is wrong. You have to figure out this, and Vedanta is teaching that, So once this identity changed, my life changes. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Atma Gunakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha Aham Adi cha Madhyam cha Bhutanam Antameva cha. I am your Atma. Well, there is a very nice bhajan, मुझे कहाँ ढूंढे रे बंदे, मैं तो तेरे पास में, ना मंदिर में, ना मस्जिद में, ना काबे कैलाश में, मैं तो तेरे पास में. Find it out. I am inside you. Where are you running? Whom are you chasing? You actually are the infinite, but you taking yourself to be the finite. You are chasing this world. Your perception about yourself is wrong. So this is the treasure which is hidden within us. This is the treasure we have to hunt instead of chasing this world, living a mundane life, If we find this, or the life becomes just a game, it just becomes a play here, So this is the subject matter of Vedanta, and this is studied just like Einstein's theory of relativity was concluded by the very famous equation E is equal to mc square. Vedantic knowledge is concluded by the equations called Mahavakyas. Vakya is a statement and Maha is a profound statement, So there are many Mahavakyas in the Vedas, but there are 4 Mahavakyas which are taken, one from each Veda. And this also proves that the knowledge of all the Vedas is same. And these Vakyas are analyzed to understand that I am the Atma and I'm not this Jiva. So the teaching Mahavakya is Tattvam Asi. That is the Mahavakya which is used for teaching purposes. And Tat means that, Paramatma. Twamasi, you are that. So how you are that is the whole study about. And the student should understand by the other Mahavakyas which says Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That is the second Mahavakya which has to be understood. This is not a easy thing. One can take millions of lives, just to understand this. It seems very simple that Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi is like the astra, during earlier days in the wars, 2 kind of weapons used to be used. One is the shastra. Shastra is held in the hand, and astra, which are released from the hand. Shastra were like the gada and the knife and all that, and astra is like the chakra and the bows. They were used. So Vedanta is also known as Darshan Shastra. Darshan is my drishti, my perception, my perspective about everything in this world, and mainly about Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. So this astra, this knowledge is supposed to change my darshan, my perspective to Sudarshan, to the right perspective. That is what Lord Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra means. Sudarshan, Sudarshan changes our darshan. That is the symbolism of Vishnu Bhagwan holding his chakra, So once our darshan changes about life, our life changes, The third is prayojanam. What is the benefit of getting this knowledge? Like everybody would want to know that nobody will make any effort until the benefit is told here, Scriptures say, prayojanam anudishya mandopi na pravartate. Prayojanam is the result, anudishya, without seeing. Mandopi, a dull person also will not make any effort, So you tell me what is the benefit which I will get for doing all these studies. So in Apara Vidya we know that when I study the Apara Vidya I will get all this money, and with this money I can buy all the comforts of life. But what will Paravidya give me, So Bhagwan says that, alright, the Paravidya, this Apara Vidya gives you these comforts, but peace, security and happiness, the absolute peace, absolute sense of security which is missing within us, and the absolute happiness only Paravidya can give. Because this world is made up of ephemeral things. Everything is ephemeral here. Everything is changing. Everything is in the realm of time. So anything which I hold on to goes away. So how can they give me peace when they themselves are insecure? They are in the realm of time. They can go any time. So that security, because it doesn't give us the sense of security, we are always praying to God, oh my God, this setup of mind which seems to be giving me this temporary peace, security and happiness must remain okay. Because the moment that setup tumbles, I am upset. This setup where I am saying must remain alright for my peace, security and happiness. But it doesn't. Because it's in the realm of time. What can change will change any time, and it's better to be prepared for that to be changed than to keep praying and keep doing rituals and keep running to all the temples and praying to deities that don't change, please help me, don't change, let my setup doesn't change. We are constantly praying for that. The world does not have the capacity to give us permanent happiness, peace. It is, if a person is looking for permanent happiness, peace in this world, it's like extracting oil out of sand. The capacity itself is missing, Everything in this world gives us a kick only for a short while. If I buy a car, I feel very happy for maybe 6 months, 1 year maximum, and then I get used to it, and the car is not giving me a kick anymore. Then I buy a house, and that house is making me very happy for some time, but after some time that house is not giving me any happiness at all because I've got used to it. Then I'm dissatisfied and I'm again looking out for something. What next? What next? Even the relationships tumble easily today because the relationship has become boring, And here, at least because of our culture, we stick on, we are duty bound, we cannot break a relationship like that. But in other countries, see how the relationships break because they've become mundane. Person has got used to, they're not giving them the happiness they want. To retain that state of mind of happiness, we want to continuously keep doing something, which will give me that kick again, Okay, let's go for a holiday, then that gives me a kick, for some time. Let's go out and eat somewhere, let's go and buy this, that's giving me a kick, but then that goes away after some time. So it is all impermanent. Only if I come to know that I am permanent, I am the infinite, then this rat race goes away. This is a wild goose chase which we are chasing. There's going to be no end to this chase. Till the finite plus finite plus finite does not become infinite. Only an infinite is infinite. Only a fact cannot change. A notion can change only. And since it is a fact, this is a fact, so this has to be realized. And this notion that I am this individual is known as aham vritti. This is a thought, this is a notion, because this is because of ignorance, and this has to be changed, and it is changed. Self-realization cannot be proven in the laboratory by science. Science, neither can they prove anything, neither can they disprove anything. This has to be realized, And for realization, the catch is that the person is supposed to have a pure mind. Only a pure mind person can realize this truth of life. So we have to work in this direction, So the scriptures say that there are two kind of prayojanas, which the benefit, Gyan Phala, which you will get. One is Jivan Mukti and the other is Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti is while living in this world, while living right here, my life, I'm going to become Mukta. So what is this Mukti we'll get? We only know about that freedom, 1947 freedom, we don't know anything else, So there is a Mukti which I am going to get here. Mukti is from self-ignorance and all the consequences of self-ignorance, which are anxiety, tension, worries, the sense of loneliness, the feeling of rejection, the fear of old age, disease, death. All these are just removed in one stroke by self-knowledge. Where can Aparavidya give us all this? Aparavidya, we are uncomfortably unhappy before getting the money. We may be uncomfortably unhappy. After getting everything, we can become comfortably unhappy. Because from within, all these problems are never going to solve. How can Aparavidya solve my sense of insecurity or the feeling of loneliness or rejection or the fear of death? No, it cannot. Everything is a feather in the cap. Oh, I have so much of property and all that, and here I'm sitting, all scared, and I'm going to die anytime. All that. What about old age is coming, and I have to face all this problem. That problem Aparavidya is never going to solve. Only Paravidya is going to solve this problem, because it tells you are not this individual. The whole perspective is wrong. So one is Videha Mukti and the other is this is the Jivan Mukti and the other is Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti is posthumous benefit, What is the posthumous? Videha Mukti, Mukti from this Deha. You are not going to be born again. A person who realizes this truth is not born again. He merges with God. This is the declaration of Vedanta, and if you have Shraddha and Bhakti in what the Vedanta is saying, please know that if you work for this knowledge and you reach this goal, that's the end. This is the last birth for you. And for a person who has made a lot of effort but did not reach the goal, the scriptures promise that that person in the next birth will get a very conducive atmosphere for this study. He will be born to parents who are very cultured and rich, and the environment of the home is conducive for studying. The parents are already into spirituality, so from birth, it's like getting that advantage, tennis advantage. One stroke and there you win, So a little bit of more effort and you will reach the goal. So this is the promise for a person who did not reach the goal. Then there are people who are just casual listeners, who are not serious about Vedanta. The scriptures say that you will go to Swarga. Swarga is the benefit by listening to Vedanta. Just listening to Vedanta, it is gives so much of punya that you will go to Swarga. But Swarga in our religion is not a permanent stay. It is still those punyas which will keep you in the Swarga, they last, and once the punyas go, then you are back to Martlokam Vishanti, you are back to this world, So, but back to this world, fine, but it will be a human birth only. So just by listening to Vedanta, one reserves a human birth for oneself, So these are the advantages posthumously by just listening to Vedanta, and while living here, you can get Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti one can understand by the example that, when this cricket team goes to play a 5-series match, and they have already won the 3 matches, and those 2 remaining matches they have to play because tickets are sold and the records have to be made. Now, can you imagine the state of mind of the cricketers when they have to play those 2 matches? There's no pressure of winning. It is all fun. Nandati, Nandati, Nandateva. That is the state of mind of a Jivan Mukta. This life becomes a game here. It is rid of all kind of tensions and pressures once you know who you are. So that is the prayojan of this knowledge. The other is sambandha. Sambandha is between two things. A relationship is between two things. So Vedanta talks about the sambandha as the sambandha between the scriptures and the knowledge. That is, the scriptures which are the revealer and the knowledge which is revealed. It is known as pratipadika, pratipadya sambandha. And the other sambandha is this knowledge and the transformation which will bring in my life, because this life is going to get transformed, So this is known as Janaka Janya Sambandha. So these are the sambandhas about Vedanta and my life. These are the four Anubandha Chatushtaya Vedanta talks about, and it is we who have to, be analyze, introspect, think that what exactly we are doing in life and where we can make our changes. So Kathopanishad says, Shreyascha preyascha manushya tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha shreyo hi dhiro bi preyaso vranite preyo mando yogakshemad vranite. So Shreyas is the path of moksha, which is reached by the treading the path of dharma, and preyas is the pleasurable path of artha and kama. So Shreyascha preyascha manushya, at every moment of my life, these two choices are standing in front of me, whether I want to tread the path of Shreyas or it will be the path of preyas. And dhiraha, a wise person, over preyas, vrinite chooses. He chooses Shreyas. And a mandaha, is a dull-headed, dim-witted person. The scriptures are full of this word muraha and vimuraha. There is a fool and a big fat fool. There are the upadhis which our countries give as Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan. So scriptures give this upadhi of muraha and vimuraha because you're doing everything wrong. You're a human being and you don't know what you're doing. So a muraha, a mandaha, he chooses yoga and shema. Yoga is, again, this word yoga has got many meanings, So yoga is getting everything I don't have in life, and shema is working for retaining all these things, LIC has borrowed this from the Upanishads, yoga, shema. So a mandaha will spend half the life in yoga, getting this, getting that, and the remaining, because you've got so much that you have to take care of everything, so the next half of the life finishes in shema. So you do yoga and you shema and you die and go away. A waste of human birth, So Bhagwan says, in Bhagavad Gita, Anantas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate Tesham nityabhiyukta nam yogakshema vahamyaham. Anantas chintayantu mam, the person who has his mind in me, the person who is worshipping me all the time, the one who is seeking me all the time, such a nitya yuktaha, such a person who has dedicated his life for knowing about me, Yogakshema Vahamyaham. I will take care of that person's Yogakshema, I will get the person what he wants. I will retain everything for him. Yogakshema Vahamyaham. You leave it to me, So that trust and faith you have to let go of all this materialism and this rat race and put your mind in the studies, in the scriptures, in Vedanta. So, after that, God can't say anything. The choice is ours. Just like in the end of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan says, Arjuna yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. You do what you want to, I have given you the knowledge. It's up to you what you want to do. So through Arjuna, he's telling humanity, he's telling all of us that the choice is yours. This is the knowledge I'm giving through the scriptures. You want to choose artha and kama and waste your life, or you want to choose dharma and moksha and reach the highest goal. The choice is yours. So today we have studied about the Purusharthas and we've studied about Anubandha Chatushtaya. So you can reflect on that and we will read this final mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.